If any game gets in the way of Genshin Impact, we will bring them down with the iron fist of justice. Genshin Impact is the only game that belongs on the island of relevancy.
People. I cannot stand people sometimes because there are situations where people is the reason why we cannot have good things, and Kuro Games was impacted by this because they were forced to censor the design of Cantarilla. And this is definitely concerning because of the fact that this increases the probability of their game, their success, their vision being negatively impacted, especially future content. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is with people that play gacha games. They feel like they spend money on these games and they feel like they can just go off the rails and say and do whatever the fudge they want. It don't work like that. Damn. And not only that, complaining about fictional character designs, what the fuck? They're just digital characters in a fictional game. How does that impact your real life? I mean, it's not that fudging deep, but here we are. So we have complaints concerning Cantarilla's suggestive, character design choice and Fraudalise being caked up. That shit was reported to the Chinese government. And the thing about the Chinese government is they really are strict when it comes to public image. Now, they don't give a spit if they didn't hear anything about it, but once that news goes viral, once they catch wind of it, then it's like, okay, we're gonna have to lock in and step in. And this is what happened. These reports that people were making about Cantarilla's design reached their ears, and it forced Kuro Games to have to make changes to the characters in question. And they made them fast, bruh. So fast it was a bit sloppy, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. If it's gotta be a bit of a sloppy toppy, if you gotta slop it up with a few sloppy seconds and fix it later, then fudging go for it. And Kuro Games did just that and stated that they're gonna clean that spit up soon. Kuro Games rating was raised to 16 plus, and 16 plus adds the label nudity to their description, so they don't want that shit because that makes their game less advertised friendly, which can hurt their pockets in terms of doing more for their game. And I found that bull donkey because Nikkei and Snowbreak is still somehow rated 12 plus. And how in the fudge did Girls Frontline 2 escape the drones? Because, well, there are some wild sexually suggested content in that one. I mean, a girl going in on a popsicle like she's a fudging porn star. These Hoyo drones are trying too hard because none of this is that deep. Going through all of this, spit over a freaking game, go touch some fudging marshmallows or something. Now, the thing that was freaking interesting about this spit is the freaking timing. It blows my mind when I actually sat down to think about it, because I mean, if you was to go back in time and you think about the design of Taishi, Shorekeeper, and Yinlin, the queen of Jello, I mean, wouldn't that have been enough for the haters to warrant reporting Wuthering Waves during the early release of WUWA? Think, Mark, think! A long time ago, during the timeline of BW, which I dub the era before WUWA, when WUWA wasn't even around, Genshin Impact had to censor the design of any character that had anything that was considered to be revealing enough. The most noticeable change was Mona. I'm not talking about the Mona Lisa, but I'm talking about Mona from Genshin Impact. When Genshin Impact first dropped, Mona was so caked up, and her design really brought that out, right? Those cheeks were for real. I mean, if she was running, you hear them cheeks clapping. However, after a while, feminists and uncultured peons had enough. And they wanted to shame Genshin and their design choices hard in order to create change. Lame change. I bet they didn't give a spit about this in their actual lives. For all we know, they could have been doing the direct opposite or doing the exact thing that they're botching about over on Twitter. You know how hypocritical people are nowadays. I mean, you never know. Let's fast forward to the year AW, which I dub as after WUWA. Wuthering Waves wasn't a threat to Genshin Impact, so they just, they laughed at all the issues that WUWA was having during the 1.0 era of Wuthering Waves. I mean, there was a lot of issues they were having, from glitches to people not being able to log into the game. It was chaos, and Kuro Games was struggling. And during the age of 1.0, there were quite a few designs Hoyo clowns could have targeted, but they didn't, because they didn't see WUWA as a threat. And I feel like that's the reason why they didn't even waste their time to do it. Like, what's the point? Genshin is on top. They're top of the leaderboards in terms of how much money they made. Now let's fast forward to the year of 2.0 WUWA, which is the year 2025, when WUWA has begun to make massive waves. Wuthering Waves gained a lot of appreciation, love, and support from the masses. Even news of well-known Genshin Impact players dropped Genshin like a bad habit for Wuthering Waves, because some people just got fed up with all the BS that was going on with Genshin Impact, and they're tired of eating shizzle, Hardcore fans of Genshin Impact considers their game to be the best, better than the rest. Nothing can contest. And anything that isn't under the Hoyo umbrella is freaking dog water. Seeing WUWA rising from the ashes now made Wuthering Waves a target. It made Wuthering Waves a threat. The problem with popularity is once it becomes popular, there's going to be haters that's just going to want to tear it down. And so the cult following of Genshin Impact, did anything, absolutely anything they can to put down any games that is considered to be a potential threat or a freaking rival. I mean, review bombing Wuthering Waves, invading WUWA preview streams, reporting anything that is a threat to their beloved game. It don't even have to be WUWA either. It could be anything that is considered cream that is rising to the top. Oh yeah. So there was this cult group called, I think, Xianjiajin or some spit like that. They're like the leading, well-known Genshin hater faction. And when I say Genshin hater faction, I mean Genshin fans hating on anything that is not Hoyo content, particularly Genshin in general. But they were thinking like, we need something diabolical. We need to find something that will stick, and they found an opportunity of a lifetime. Catarilla, the rack, the camel toe, Fraudalise, the cake. They said, it is our time. They even went as far as to create tutorials to explain how to report findings to the Chinese government. That spit's freaking crazy.
If any game gets in the way of Genshin Impact, we will bring them down with the iron fist of justice. Genshin Impact is the only game that belongs on the island of relevancy.
Yeah, that's the rhetoric that they've been spouting. I mean, tribalism is a son of a bitch. That's all I got to say about that. Is this censorship a deal breaker? Not really. But it has the potential to hinder Kuro games. I mean, imagine, just think about it. Characters you already got months ago being physically changed would absolutely suck, because of the fact that now the characters is losing a part of what added to the appeal that made those characters great. I mean, imagine Kuro's vision for storytelling being limited due to worry of personal opinions negatively altering the story, like what happened during the beta test of Wuthering Waves. I mean, like, I feel like 1.0 would have been heat if those lame CM players during the beta test did not botch about a more realistic reaction to Rover's unexpected abilities. Because imagine if you were in the same room with a person that you don't even know and they have all these crazy powers. I mean, wouldn't you put a gun to their head if you find them sus? Like, they may turn around and turn on you because of these powers that they have? Like, they would flip out and just murk you? I mean, come on, dude. The opener of the beta was completely different. So much so one would say that the opener to that version was definitely way better than what we got at the official release. You know, it makes no sense how Citizens of Xianjiajin is all open arms, easy access, so easy you could hear the zipper of Rover becoming undone, cause come on, man. I mean, they knew nothing of Rover yet, and they're acting as if they are the best of friends in the official release, on the official release of the game. Like, that's your opener? I just found that kind of weird considering the what's at stake here. And people have stated that people in those servers was actually complaining about how badly Rover was being treated, and so Kuro just decided to change it. I mean, now I can understand why censorship is needed. Censorship can protect us from hateful things, can shield children from things they should not be exposed to too soon, preventing identity theft and keeping sensitive information more confidential, and plenty more. I'm sure there's more things you could think of. However, censorship can also become a double-edged sword. It's often used for personal agenda. Like censorship is abused in some ways. And a good example of that is how corrupt politicians like Donald Trump are. And they use their power to try to do things like censor history to hide the truth about racism and bigotry. It can also prevent us from pursuing a particular career path, just to name a few. So what is your take on all of this? Are you frustrated with this censorship? Does it have a negative impact on you playing WUWA, or does it not affect you at all? Do you think it'll affect the future? I mean, share your thoughts. I'd like to hear from you, because your opinions matter. My opinions matter. All of our opinions matter. We have to talk about these things, and we have to speak up about it, because if we don't, then, Wuthering Waves is just going to suffer because of it. So, hey, you know what it is. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that subscription button, click on that bell for notifications for more Wuthering Waves videos and live streams. And do like Lumi says and keep your eyes on the horizon until we meet again. Peace and God bless, and thank you.